Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. Good morning to you, Jan, and good morning everybody else who is watching but has not yet left a comment. Happy Thursday to you. We are getting close to Friday. This day is, or this week is starting to come to a close, and yeah, let me tell you, it has been quite a busy week for me. Hopefully, you guys are having an amazing week as well. So yeah, we're going to do the same thing we do every morning at 9 a.m. I'm going to pull a card off the top of the deck. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card, and we are going to respond out loud together. I am that affirmation. As we do that, good morning, Tony. As we do that, we are building into our own lives. We are changing up our own experience. So let's have some fun. Let's pull a card off the top of the deck and say that today I am enough. I am enough. I cultivate inner peace and fulfillment. So I am enough. I cultivate inner peace and fulfillment. Are you enough? You are enough. You cultivate inner peace and fulfillment. I'm going to write that down in the comments to say that I am enough. I cultivate inner peace and fulfillment. All right, so I am enough today, and you are as well. Yeah, I can sometimes get into a mode where I'm thinking that I'm not enough, or that that I've bitten off more than I can chew. That the projects that I'm doing in life are too big for me. That I don't have a full grasp or a full understanding of them, and that the stuff that I purpose to accomplish can never be achieved in a lifetime. I really do think that sometimes. Sometimes I get kind of discouraged, even as things are going really well. In fact, sometimes I get discouraged, especially as things are going really well. And I have to remind myself that I am enough, and that I have that I can do anything that I choose. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Tony. Nice to see you guys here today. Thanks for sharing the broadcast, Tony. I appreciate you. But yeah, I really do. I have to remind myself that I'm fully capable of accomplishing the things that I set out to do. And it's man, it's sometimes just a complete mind job, because even as I accomplish, and even as I have all of the evidence that shows that I can plug away at things and make them work, I still will sometimes get into a mode where I don't think that I am capable of accomplishing the big dreams that I have in my heart. But in the end, I am enough. And in the end, when I look back at all the stuff that I have accomplished in life, it's huge. And so it just reminds me of this quote that we always always overestimate what we can do in a day, and dramatically underestimate what we can do in a year. And it's just kind of it's like you would think that you could do 365 times more in a year than you can in a day, but in the end, it's just so much bigger than that. And so I am enough, and I cultivate inner peace and fulfillment. I cultivate a feeling of knowing that I am enough, that I am accomplishing the things that are important to me, that I am doing the things that I'm being, that I am having, and that in the end, all of my striving, all of the stuff that is important to me in life, that all that stuff, ultimately, it just comes back down to how can I love the people around me. And if I'm loving the people around me, and if I'm loving myself, then what more is there exactly? Is me being done with a project, one day ahead of schedule, is that going to somehow increase my self-worth? Of course not. The fact is that I have to, one of my biggest challenges in life is that I need to make sure that I give myself credit for what I do accomplish, and that I have to realize that I'm enough regardless and outside of anything that I accomplish. So I found that, at least for me, I'm a very accomplishment driven person. I decide I'm going to do something, and then I go do it. And in the end, I have to understand that I'm enough whether or not I achieve my visions, whether or not my goals come into place or come together the way that I think that they ought to. So I am enough today. You are enough as well. and we are cultivating inner peace and fulfillment today. So today, as I go about my day, as I go about my life, as I go about all the stuff that's going to happen today, all the things that are really good that are going to happen today. Let me tell you, lots of good stuff is going to happen today, and all the stuff that's going to happen today that's going to frustrate me. Then and that's going to happen too. I just know it. That's how life goes. Sometimes things are going well, sometimes things aren't. But in the end, I am enough to deal with it. I'm enough to handle it, and so are you. No matter what happens today in your life, you are equipped to handle it. You are equipped to deal with it. And recognize today, this card is our litmus test. It's our touchstone. Let us recognize that our being enough exists outside of our accomplishing anything, of our doing anything. We are inherently worthy. We are inherently valuable. Just like the I am awesome card says that we celebrate our inherent value and worth. Well, yeah, and that's exactly how it is. We Because we are on this earth, because we are in this plane of existence, and because we have such a tremendous power to change it, modify it, and rebuild it and remake it in accordance with the way that we believe the world should be, that itself is enough. That itself is our ticket to being worthy. So I am enough today, and you are enough as well. And together, let's cultivate that inner peace and fulfillment. That inner peace and fulfillment, that knowledge of who we are, that understanding that we are enough, is something that is very, very attractive to other people. The world tells us that we're not enough. Women are told they're not pretty enough, and men are told they're not rich enough, over and over and over again. And the people who tell us that stuff are interested in selling us something. They're interested in saying, well, you're not enough right now, but if you have my thing, you'll be enough. So many advertisers, marketers, advertisers, do this stuff. And the fact is that it's just pervasive in our society. There are people who have a very real vested interest in making sure that you are discontent. I remember that a long time ago, I was considering, getting rid of my TV, or in particular, I was considering just cutting cable and going back, from having 930 channels down to having like 10 or 15 channels, whatever I could get on an antenna. And I read all these articles about how you can save money by getting rid of the TV, and I so I thought to myself, I was like, yeah, you save money getting rid of the TV, but you're really only saving like $60 a month or so. Well, I remember that I moved from one state to another, I packed all my stuff up, and I moved, and I just never bothered to get cable. In fact, I never bothered to even turn on my TV. It just kind of sat next to the wall for like 6 months before I realized I should just donate it. And as I was donating it, I was struck with this realization that I had saved a lot of money by not having cable, and it was far in excess of that $60 for cable that I would have otherwise spent. But it was also because by not watching TV, I was not being consistently bombarded with messages about what I should buy, and consequently, I found myself not going to the store every single day. I mean, I remember at that time I had a pretty actually I had a very good job, and I had no real bills or responsibilities. And I mean, I remember that every single day I would go to the store, and I would not walk out without spending some money on something. In fact, I was spending probably around about $100 a day just on random crap that I didn't want, like, need, or desire, except that I had seen it on TV, or I'd seen it on advertising somewhere, and so of course I felt like, well, I must need this thing. If I get this thing, I will finally experience that freedom and fulfillment. Well, of course, buying the thing did not ever give me the freedom and fulfillment. Going off and spending the money never gave me that freedom and fulfillment. I had to take the harder routes. I had to find it myself. I had to come to an understanding of my own inherent value, my own inherent sufficiency. And when I did that, that was the beginning of my cultivation of inner peace. When I realized that I was not what I bought, I was not what I did, that I was enough simply by being myself. And from there on, it wasn't too long before I realized just how discontent that I was with certain parts of my life, which led me on a journey of moving to Central America and living down there for like 7 years, and really radically reevaluating my own life purposes, my own life goals, and coming to an understanding of a greater understanding of really who I am. And so, of course, my life is very unique. My life is, well, it's unique to me. But the fact is that the lessons that I learned through that experience are something that can be applied anywhere. And when I go through the world and I observe the way that the people around me live, I recognize that the folks who also, like me, have cultivated this idea of their enoughness are people who also have transcended the idea that what they buy defines them. I'm so blessed. I live in a community that we really don't care about how much money you have or what you've bought or what you've accomplished. We look at each other's energy. We care about each other's energy, and in the end, as I mentioned before, the fact that we are alive, the fact that we are doing life on this plane of reality, on this plane of existence and understanding, makes us enough. That is our birthright. To create is our birthright. To be at peace with where we are is our birthright. And so let's make sure that we are cultivating that inner peace. And we can cultivate that inner peace and that inner fulfillment by just realizing, recognizing, and understanding that we are enough just as we are. We don't need to do something else to be enough. We don't need to buy something else to be enough. We don't need to believe one particular basket of ideas over another basket of ideas in order to be enough. We are enough as we are. And so this card is just inviting us, and in particular challenging me. It always challenges me to disconnect to disconnect the desire for accomplishment that I have, or the desire to make a splash in this world the way that I do, with my own inherent worthiness to even undertake such tasks. So I am enough today, and you are enough too. And so let's cultivate that inner peace and fulfillment. As we do that, we will find ourselves very attractive to others, because there is something about that inner peace that you cannot buy, that you cannot achieve, that you cannot do anything to get, except to truly understand yourself. There's something about that inner peace that everybody wants. And so as we go through our day with that incredible thing that everybody seems to be striving for, then our ideas will be more attractive to others. So I am enough today. You are enough too, and let's be enough. Let's understand fully that we are here. We're here for a purpose, and that those purposes are eternal purposes. Those purposes are they far outweigh and outstrip anything that is going to happen to us today. What happens today is temporal. It is fleeting. We will not accomplish nearly as much as we think that we could accomplish today. But when we look back at our lives in a year, the radical changes that have happened, we're going to think to ourselves, how on earth did that happen? And if we're honest with ourselves, we're going to realize that it was not through our efforting and not through our striving that we accomplished all the things, that we cultivated all those projects, that we did the doing. It's not through that. It's not through our efforting. It's not through our striving, but through our allowing of it, our recognition of our own inherent worthiness to actually effectuate on the things, on the world change that we believe needs to happen. To do it a little bit every single day, and in the end, to see a result that is so large that we can't even understand how we got there. So I am enough. You are enough today, and let us cultivate that inner peace and fulfillment. So let's see what you guys have to say today. It is really, really nice to see y'all here. Good morning again to Jan. Good morning to Tony. Let's see. Good morning over here. Good morning, Dan, coming in from Buford. Good morning, Pepper, coming in from Twitch. Pepper, I see that from your art profile on Twitch. Nice to see you over there at Basil Blossom Artistry. Let's see here. Let's see. Good morning, Shauna. Wonderful to see you here, Shauna. Always a pleasure when you come on to the wake up call. Good morning to you, Teresa. Good to see you as well. Let's see here. Let's see. So we got all those. Who else has come by today? Let's see. So Jan says, let's see. Yeah. So Jan, whoops. So Dan says, let's see. Where are we at there? So Jan says that she's enough regardless of the tangible outcomes. The world tells me I'm not enough because they want more. Dan says it's because they seek to manipulate you. Boy, do they! When I first started to come in, to really study advertising and marketing, and in particular like copywriting, it, it was amazing to me. I just opened my eyes to the fact of just how much, so much print media and so much, so much. Television media and just advertising media in general is just literally just telling you what to do, and people do it. In fact, I mean, every time I'm doing sales, I just tell people what to do. I just say it with a smile on my face. I'm like, all right. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's wonderful. Do you want to put that on a credit or a debit card today? I didn't give them the option not to put it on a credit or a debit card. I just said which one you putting it on. And you know what? The vast, vast, vast majority of people that I talk to, when I say those words, when I say, yeah, you want to put this on a credit or a debit card, or, what's it going to take to get started today? They just roll over and do it. And I realized that I do the same exact thing sometimes. Somebody just some piece of advertisement just tells me what to do, and I do it. But the fact is that all of this stuff is in one way or another manipulation. We are manipulating somebody to do what we want them to do. We are having conversations with a purpose. Somebody might get into a conversation with us, not realizing what the purpose is. We have an ulterior motive, and we know what that ulterior motive is. And so when I started to kind of understand that that's how all marketing and all advertising works, it really just opened my eyes, and I started to look critically at and listen to critically all the ads that I hear and see and that I just come into contact with every single day. And so yeah, that is textbook manipulation. Now, manipulation doesn't necessarily have to be nefarious. It just means that we manipulate. When the potter makes a clay pot, they're manipulating the clay. And they're manipulating the clay for a purpose. So it is the purposes of the potter that makes the clay one thing or another. It is not the clay itself in the process of being manipulated. So as we have these same conversations, as we recognize that we are enough, as we come to a more full understanding of just how much manipulation there is in this world, then we also can harness that for our own abilities or for our own purposes. The fact is that the tools that people use against us all the time are just tools. They can be used for us as well. So yes, indeed, they do want to manipulate us, and we can manipulate ourselves just as much. These cards are a form of manipulation. They're a form of benevolent manipulation. They're a form of just kind of reminding people of their inherent worth, of their inherent sufficiency, and in doing so, helping us to completely change the way that our minds work for our own benefit, which is, in my view, a positive permutation of advertising and copywriting skills. When we say that we are things, when we recognize that we are, when we tell other people that they are things, we have the ability to radically change their lives. So yeah, really, really good perspective there, Dan and Jan. Thank you for getting me off on that little tangent. Let's see. Tony says there's no opinion of us that matters above our own. We are enough. Absolutely. I phrase it this way, Tony. The what other people think about me is their business. It's not my business what somebody else thinks about me. I have in many times in life, I've had people come up to me and say, hey, I really didn't want to like you when I first met you. I thought that you were a fake person. And well, you just keep on being the same over and over and over again. And I have to admit that I was wrong. And when somebody says that to me, I'm never angry that they didn't like me at the beginning. I'm always happy that they eventually came around to liking me, regardless of how it happened. And I'm coming to an understanding that I really am congruent. That the way that I behave today is the same way that I behave tomorrow. And that when I say all these words, I'm not trying to be some fake person attempting to make friends, win friends, and influence people. This is the stuff that lives inside of my heart, and it's got to come out. So it does. Let's see. Jan says they have the human need, a desire for expansion and more, and have not found that in themselves and see that as their only way to be fulfilled through others. I'm not mad at them. I know times I have felt that way too. It's the only game they know how to play at this time. My job is to stand firm in my own authenticity and enoughness and choose not to play that game with them. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Preach, Jan. That's people are playing all these different games, and we don't have to play them just because they are. We can let them have their game, and we can play our own, and our own gets to be rigged in our favor. So we don't need to put other people down in order to lift ourselves up. We can lift ourselves up, and then the people around us can come up to where we're at, or they can vibrate right on out of our lives, and it's their choice. All right. Good morning, Nita, coming in from the gym, and Teresa again. Wonderful to see you guys here today. Let's see. So Jan says, once again, many times in the day, we accomplish the unseen and unrecorded steps toward tangible outcomes. We do much more in each day than we give ourselves and others credit for. Yeah, that is a fact. And I am probably one of the most guilty, which is why this card is always confrontational for me whenever I see it, because honestly, there's still a lot of me that doesn't think that I'm enough, that doesn't think that I am enough, do enough, be enough, have enough, am enough for this stage of life. Man, these thoughts come in lots of different forms, lots of different little packages wrapped up in a pretty bow, but they're full of shit on the inside. All right, so let's see here. All right, guys. So we will return tomorrow at 9 a.m. with another one of these cards. And also tomorrow being Friday, we're going to go through all the cards for the week and see, and basically just kind of see how the week shook out. I actually select these cards. Sometimes I select them randomly. I have a little computer program that I wrote that just selects them randomly. Sometimes I actually select them intentionally. I've wanted to do this card for a little while now, but the card itself, I just didn't like the graphics. There's some things I didn't like about it. I didn't think it was enough, and so therefore I hadn't really brought it out just yet. So today I felt like it was a good day for the I Am Enough card and the You Are Enough card. And so I brought them out, and I hope that it's been a wonderful experience for you to have this new card in our lives. Anyways, I will talk to you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Until then, just let's all just rest in the fact that we are enough, and know that all the good that happens to us today is going to happen not as a result of our efforting, but as a result of our deciding, and as a result of our perceiving of what is good in our lives. Then that is going to help us understand that we are inherently worthy, valuable, sufficient, and that's going to give us the ability to cultivate that inner peace and fulfillment that everybody in life is seeking. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Until then, this is your daily reminder that I love you, that I care about you, that I think that you're an amazing person, and that I'm glad that you're in my life and that you are enough. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Until then, aloha from paradise.